Oh, hey, man.
Hello.
Oh, what a damn weekend. We drove 4 hours to Atlanta, pick up our boys Paul and Ryan, then drove another 7 damn hours to Florida, where we kicked ass all weekend, honestly.
I just played everyone in the car that we rode down there with.
I hilariously didn't until the finals of each event. That's what was funny as hell to me. Let's see. Yeah, we Sunshine SmackDown was fun, man. I enjoy a ton of the people that were there. Hilarious, like sometimes they're like, listen, people are people, man. Sometimes there are more that we prefer to see than the others, but there really wasn't anybody in Florida. Like I liked the vast. Like I have a on again off again rivalry / thing with Pate. Basically, where I call him my my SRG grandpa because he's always forgetting his cards. He's forgetting cards. His mind is almost completely gone. But
First, you got to APOC and clear the board all the time.
Yeah, that's why he has to
Much
APOC to remember what is out there.
Uh-huh.
But he is also one of the nicest individuals. Like if you're actually just sitting there talking to him. Like I remember first Miso's, he was very serious about like, hey, if you're tired, do like pull over, like be safe, let me know when you get there. Like it's stuff like that that I enjoy. And Bob Dunn historically runs good events. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. And I tried to be slightly more organized this time around to have some sort of idea of what's happening. Production truck, if you don't mind pulling up my here PowerPoint. Look at that. Let's go, baby. Hey. By the way, any graphic design was done by PowerPoint itself. I most definitely did not decide to do any of this. I just saw it on the side. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, things we noticed at Sunshine SmackDown. First thing, my car is OP as hell. Actually cracked. Last year in Florida, Sean Loeb rode in the car and ended up winning. So once again, we had 4 people go down from Atlanta. So we had CAC winner Ryan, CAC runner up me, and then 4 out of 8 of the total top cut. So it was a good shot that we were gonna win it. And considering the two options for us putting people in the game were either Paul or Possum. Like, we were golden. Tag team finalists, we had Trey and Ryan, gaming the system, some say.
0 stops. Everything was hitting.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We were not playing hour-long tag matches.
Yeah, they finished their entire side of the bracket by the time we were done by like our first match. It was insane. And the winners, against our best wishes, were Paul and I, the real beaters.
That's the reason we got a T50 vacation commissioner.
T50 vacation commissioner, who quite literally did nothing the entire event. I was hit by no finishes. I hit no finishes. Didn't do a damn thing. Paul did all the work.
So strong.
And we won. But the only thing that I'll say that I did in the finals was it was against you guys, and I was the only one who got how to beat you guys. Yeah, gaming the system. I would just be yelling at Paul because, Candyman gimmicks, and he's like, "Oh, I'll add snap punch to hand or snap headlock to hand." I was like, "The fuck you will!" I was like, "Get rid of that shit! Like, who cares? Like, get the next card. Who cares?" And it's like they have no stops. Play anything, Paul. Anything at all. Just insane, and because it was a singles deck, I had backlash with the table and stuff, so it started at crab meter 1. So whenever Ryan hit me with a finish sub, I'm like, all right, I'll draw 2 and shuffle. And he was like, what?
That was definitely a surprise.
Yeah. I didn't get hit by a finish the entire game of the entire tournament, so y'all were the first ones to see it. And then the Underworld champion, it's me, and the challenger, Paul, I won. He did not. He could not defeat the Mimic. He tried. He tried to run circles around me, and I just stayed there, and I just punched him in the throat with submissions. We'll get to that later. But all right, next slide. This is the CAC field. We got the top 8 over here, and then the eventual bracket. Even with Ring of Fire, the fastest decks were the most successful. Doesn't matter.
People didn't care about Ring of Fire. People didn't care about Steel Chain. They're like, we're running our draw decks.
Yeah, everything was draw 2, man. We just straight up didn't care. Like, in the first round, we had me versus you, oddly enough. D2 Sledgehammer version versus Grinch Pit. And let me tell you how thrilled I was against Grinch Pit to play American Dragon Drop and flip my Apocalypse. Which meant
Don't
your
worry,
gimmick.
I followed that up by flipping my 15 and 27.
Yeah, I think I flipped the grapple stop too. So I was like, yeah, you know what? It's fair. We're fine. It was the insane thing, but it was like, cool. Your gimmick's going to be on the entire game. But I eventually got a couple turn lead and ended up escaping the cage. Meanwhile, we had the TVA Chiropractor as the Grand Wizard, the Grand Pretzel Wizard, playing against Commodore Terraskull and Steve Resk, a literal insane man. He won the steel cage by playing the 24 that was also a finish if he had 3 follow-ups in play. And he rolled 10 to an 11 on poor Paul. It was so rude. Oh my god! I think there was talk of like if it didn't work, it may be a roll off. I think he pulled over Bob to double check what the ruling was, even though Steve's the one that came up with the ruling on what the hell happens with a steel cage or a tie. Anyway, we had a Brain, Bob Dunn himself as Velvet Assassin, the newest version versus Ryan's Wendigo, where I hear Brain actually killed himself. Unalived himself, thank you.
Ryan had card left, one card on board. It was a lead. They bumped, and Bob popped the lead. Ryan won the next turn, rolled, discarded his 27, didn't have a playable card,
and just didn't even need to. It's like, yeah, Bob will even tell you, it's like, yeah, I botched that completely. And then one of my favorite ideas. I almost thought about playing Jigsaw for like this exact same reason. Chuggy played King Cold, which reduces your max hand size -3 off the rip, and a Spotlight Strike, which makes you randomly discard for hand size. In a steel cage, that is absolutely horrible. Like, and
Light gross.
in Fire Flash, if you've never played against Jonathan Thu's Fire Flash, it is so fast. It flips everything. It flips or buries everything. Like, he'll play every, like, flip 2 for each strike, flip 4. Like, everything is either flip or get those things. And he's got a circle of the sun grapple if he's got 2 other finishes and discard. Like, it is so annoying to deal with. But because of the random discard for max hand size from Chuggy's King Cold, like, he was able to win the match because I'm sure he discarded a stop and won off that. That's what makes sense to me.
I didn't see how that ended, but that would be my guess as well.
Yeah, I think I heard Harry complaining about the random discard. I'm sure that's what it was. And then we had in talking about Cookie's Fortune. All right. So in the Ring of Fire, it was as soon as I watched Steve Resk beat my boy, the TVA chiropractor, I said, "Guess what you won?" He was like, "What?" And I said, "A fucking beatdown." That is not what happened. That was not what happened in the Ring of Fire. He hit me with 2 finishes to, like, start the game by, like, turn 10.
Yeah.
It was Crowd Beaters and Crowd Beater 0. He hits me with a 10. Now, good on Steve. He celebrates my breakout on 3 just as much as anybody else. Like he was excited. Crowd Beater 2, he hits me 6, 2, and 8. I roll 5, 7, and I'm like, "Are you fucking? I'm gonna lose to the 8." Breakout on 3 again, and then Crowd Beater 2, I just go elbow shot, fire 1 across the bow, finish strike, and he's like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" He just didn't have any stops for strikes, and I just hit 10 to 12. See you later. And Ryan versus Chuggy. I'm sure Ryan won this based on Impact his family. We'll get to that later. But that against Chuggy, very clutch. The I'm assuming this won by finish, Trey?
I'm pretty sure it won by finish.
Yeah. That I would assume so.
I was watching your match.
Okay.
Next to me.
Yeah, that's true. We were yelling at each other, so that's entertaining. Me and Steve. When will people learn about Impact? I am the only one. I'm the only one that that is trying to tell people about Impact, and to my own detriment, it turns out. Because in the finals we have Ryan as Wendigo and TVA Commish as the D2 Sledgehammer. Finished sub rolled an 11. That makes sense. If it was Crab Meter 1, yeah, he probably rolled 10 to an 11. But this damn match, we were both like super fast. His Impact his family turning off my 14 was extremely clutch for him. Like, he was able to get his finish sub in play and was able to steal a bunch of turns off of that to get the other finishes in play and just roll.
So the finish sub gives him a bunch of stats.
Oh yeah, and it's like bottom boosting because like the amount of times he would roll like 6, 2, and 8 or something, and it would beat my 7 was very unfortunate. And then he only needed to get the strike in play because he could just immediately put the grapple in play. And granted, it was very funny because he rolled a 10 and was like, "Wait, I have a reroll," and I was like, "I would really appreciate it if you rerolled because I don't know how better you're gonna get than a 10 on Crab Meter 0." Or
to be fair, I think it was 5 to a 10 with all of them in there.
It was his 5 to a 10, but so, like,
you know,
I had already looked and I was like, "There's no way." Like, I would appreciate it if you hit that 6 to an 8, brother. I would appreciate it. I would have kicked out if it was that. But Ryan, the eventual winner, very good. Let's see. This is the runner-up deck. So I don't actually own Jumps the Bell, but Trey figured it was I was talking about it because I was like, God, I really hate Impact His Family because the consequences of my own actions, we call it, because I finally really like a character with a very strong spotlight. Which, if you don't know what D2 Sledgehammer's spotlight does, it is rah rah parry gimmick. Just for power. So his power is always considered greater than yours. So your 7 seals does not work against him, and his 7 seals or wave breaking kendo works against you no matter what. You could be Titan with power 11, it will work.
Can't colossal smash him.
I can't colossal smash me. There were a few colossal smashers. Shockingly, the giant motors did not make top cut. But went 5-0 in Swiss. I played Fire Flash Harry in the last round of Swiss for the undefeated. And Jumps the Bell, the Florida people were not happy with me playing Jumps the Bell. Arcade Addict Air was blaming that for my wins. I was like, I blanked 3 entrances all day. One of them was Trey's Crime Doesn't Pay.
Very
but
impactful.
Very impactful. I did blank a Summoning Circle, which was clutch against a cardboard villain playing Bombada, and I think I got to blank a Floats as well. And unfortunately, in the finals, I ran up against a Impact His Family, and whoops, didn't win the first turn roll. So that probably swung the whole damn match. It was very unfortunate. But for this deck, in Stips, I wanted because in Steel Cage and Steel Chain, you just do it's whatever. You try and race them, and you're just going to try and hit them in the head with your gigantic finishes. Because each one of these finishes, and I do not run Face Melter because I saw more than my fair share of half crabs. I run the big stat booster one because I also wanted it for tables, ladders, and chains. Yeah. Because it's 5 to with no keywords, which there are a ton. It's 5 to an 8, 8 to a 10. All of these give 8 to a 10, no matter what. And that's why I'm like, if I'm playing a character with every finish is 2 10s, I'll take my chances. And the cards that I think were clutch in this the new line, it's chug chug chug. It's put up to 3 finishes on top of your deck, and if it's crowd meter 2, you could play an additional card. That was so good in a couple of my early matches that went to crowd meter 2 because I could just go lead into follow up, just super easy. Just get the finish back, play jackhammer, and just race somebody. It was very impactful against Jason Fauson's General Lee Wong in the first one. And in Ring of Fire, you can top deck, you can get any 2 finishes of what you want because the first one will get flipped and then you'll have the other 2. So it's basically you get 2 cards added to your deck for time wise, and then they could be finishes. And then if it's crowd meter 2 on any other step, you just get to play another card. It's a free rolling 4R. And then everybody was running these cards, man. Rejected, Apocalypse. You weren't running Apocalypse, of course, but you're Grinch Pit. But
I had Bow to None.
In fact, you were the opposite of that. You had Bow to None. You said, "Oh hell no." But big body block to stop Apocalypse, mainly for Steel Cage and finals. Rejected for Ring of Fire, obviously. I had a decent mix of the Steel Cage stops because Steel Cage and Liger's Den were possibilities. I had Impact Drop for a drop on the bottom. Smash, Un-American Elbow Smash. It's a keyword. Building blocks for just a berry. It can be annoying as hell in Steel Cage. Let's see. Throw my weight around for Ring of Fire because my power could be greater than theirs with my spotlight, so they can't 7 seals it or whatever, and they can't reject it either. It's a free recursion. ADD, Sledgehammer the Quad. This line, Sledgehammer the Quad, is so good. I legit think in an open field you need to have one no matter what, because the draw 1 is whatever. The fact that your opponent can't clear it with APOC is so good. Right, Dave? Yeah.
Or if you run into that Najamai.
Run into Najamai. Bob Dunn found out the power of this line because he's playing Velvet Assassin. Velvet Assassin, if you don't know, clears a card on a bump or takes a +1. And then her finish strike, if stop text, is an APOC, essentially. Clear all cards in play. So I play Sledgehammer the Quad. Next turn, we bump. Bob just goes, God damn it. And then he plays Finish Strike. I'm like, okay. I stop it with like American Dragon Leg Lock. He's like, all right, board clears. I was like, all right, except for Sledgehammer the Quad. And he's like, fuck. And I'm just able to hit a finish sub with no subs in play. And he's like, I hate this so much. And that was his only loss until Top Gun. I was his only loss in Swiss because Sledgehammer the Quad was killing him. Yeah. And then I've got 2 hammers on 15 on my 10 and 9. Him having 2 hammers is sick, and he can recur hammers or draw 2 on a gimmick trigger, which is excellent. Sky High throw, that's a shuffle in and draw, and it's a keyword wrench free, just a removal. And then my 25 through 27 are some of the most powerful cards you can have. Smush on the turnbuckle. I know how powerful spotlights are. If I'm not running Impact, I'm having one of these lines. Taunting Impact Suplex for if stop. Hammering Tackle. Berry 3s are pretty damn good. They can slow your opponent down so much. And it's keyword for D2. Yeah. Set up the Sledgehammer, draw 2, shuffle 2, draw 2. My sub 9 to a 10 for breakouts. Pretty damn good. Jackhammer, another removal card that is a keyword. So good. Fire one across the bow, mainly because my strike is I almost said bonkers, thudders, I guess. It's so good, and you can go get Banhammer block, APOC, anything you need, and in Ring of Fire, make your opponent flip 3. Pretty damn good. I made Steve do that. He was not thrilled. Yeah, and then just Steel Cage, except for Blindside Smash because I am a keyword loving monster, and Smash is a keyword. But did all right, pretty solid. The winner though, and now Trey, this is your deck. You could talk about this.
Yeah, that was my deck. He changed the 15 to have an if stop there instead of the flip stop, and then he changed the 10 to the can't be stopped by follow-ups.
Yep.
I've been playing it and been playing it against a bunch of berry decks, so I just ran draw as much as I could. So it has originally had all the steel cage stops because of the steps, swapped out, or no, it had rejected to begin with, and then swapped big body block in for the steps. Reverse scoop slam on the grapple, just so you can shuffle up to 3 back in because you're going to be decked out so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chugga to recur finishes as well. I typically don't recur or play Chugga, but with as fast as Wendigo goes, you can get a finish and then just keep trying to spam that one finish.
All right.
Kept the Japanese arm drag, just trying to go fast on the 11. Bridging Sleeper, I really like that line, especially in like a steel chain. Line. You can choose, or in a steel cage, you can hit it and you can draw, 5. So it kind of becomes a must stop there. I like playing it on my weakest stop stat wise. So like they're gonna be throwing strikes into you, so you're gonna have your subs in play. So it should hit more. Ran Alien Invasion just because I couldn't really find another skill card that I liked there. And then ran the flip stop on 14 and swapped the 15 to the if stop. It almost cost him against Drew because the end is near, can't stop leads. But Ryan had the big body block in his hand to be able to.
No, I'm sub 9 anyway.
True there too.
Yeah. I was about to say it didn't cost him at all because it wouldn't have stopped it. Yeah. All right. Candyman, ask him what the gimmick is.
American Dragon Drop, leveling up, back up. We typically like that because it pulls rejected, or you're shuffling back in and Ring of Fire to save you. Opening act, just because you're going to kind of be only playing it early, crowd meter 0. So if you bump their 10 to an 11, it doesn't really do anything for you, and it gives you another 10 protection, draw 3.
And that's draw 3 increased power for breakout rolls for ones that don't know, because that's kind of a fake card.
Power bomb, just recursion, flip forward, get you out of the cage faster. Knee stomps, also kind of along with the line. If APOCs are heavy on the field, If it gets popped, you get to add a finish or a submission back to your hand as well.
I'll get to that later when we talk about Kota Ibushi versus Mimic.
And then just Rabbit out of hat line, and then his stock finishes.
All right, so Angela asking Candy Ma'am, the gimmick, for those who don't know, the Wendigo, it's once during any player's turn. When your opponent adds any number of cards to their hand, draw one card. So every steel cage is a draw 2 for him on either turn.
And like if they play Chug Up, or they play,
yeah,
any of
anything
their
that goes
recursion
straight to
cards that come
hand,
back to hand, he gets to draw.
Yeah, and there were a few of those because of Ring of Fire, because you want stuff that goes straight to hand. So like all of this Cosmic Smash, draw 2. Pineapple for Sheep, draw 2. If your opponent's running Cosmic Smash, draw 2. It gotta go fast, so fast. Oh yeah, you're so done. It's like you think Candyman goes fast against Wendigo? He'll be done by like turn 5. Yeah, and the finish strike is killer because it is 5 to a 9. Put one card from your discard pile into play, and that includes finishes. So he could just straight up put this. There's a bit of glare. The finish grapple is 9 to a 10. Is it your opponent adds 1?
I don't remember if that's the one where we both add the top card of our deck.
No, that's the sub.
That's the
It's your opponent adds 1 card from their discard pile to their hand, but you get a reroll on your finish with a 9 to a 10. Yeah, and then finish sub, bunch of numbers. Each player adds the top card of their deck to their hand, and then you look at your opponent's hand, choose a card, and bury it. This would be John Mac Schnurr, real beater. I believe this was his Evie Laveau CAC win. And it didn't get... with his Pate was smashing me with his version of this deck. But yeah. And then he ran Impact his family, and Ryan will be the first to tell you it was active in every single match in Top Cut. And it's like, yep, that's why you run Impact his family. Because he did not have to worry about anybody's spotlights, and he got to just straight up blank finishes. So good.
Blanket finishes is pretty good.
Really good. And congratulations to Ryan and Trey for yet another one of your friends just taking one of your decks and winning a CAC with it. We really decent job. Yeah, Trey, you really got to start holding these decks for your own, brother, and just get the yeah.
This one got Mr. Pollywood in. I'm not upset about it.
That's why I said, well, yeah, in the finals too. Like, I was playing for Possum because I'm playing for Possum until he gets in, because I won over him at Miso's, right? And that's why. And Ryan and I like shook hands. It's like, hey, no matter what, like one of our homies is going in. Like, I don't give a shit. So that it's like I'm not salty at all about getting second, because it's like how the fuck am I gonna be mad against my tag team partner or one of my only Will. It's like one of my tag team partners. We unfortunately won our tag team event. But we
I am not upset with this. If anything, I am ecstatic because you have deserved getting wins in tag team champion in a tag team match. So I'm very happy that you got the dub. All right, I'm going back.
Yeah, and as Mr. Pollywood said, help! We have encountered horrors of our own making.
Consequences of your actions.
The consequences of our actions. Yes, and as Angela said, my contenders. Yeah, not thrilled about that, because we got added to the contender chat, and I just immediately go shit. I historically don't like tag. I'm a tag GM, so I can avoid playing tag, and I was like, oh no, it make numbers easy, and I get to play with Paul. I'll play in the Deep South Tag event, and then I won. Shit. Damn it! Didn't accept it. Well, they got to go to 2 different people to get there. You think? Stay there in your Chuck chair. All right. Now, that is the CAC winning deck. Congratulations to Ryan and Mr. Pollywood, who's already coming up with coming up with who to put on his art and such. The Chuck chair, yes. All right, and I think next we could talk about some of the book matches, starting off with what the fuck are we doing, Tim? All right, so glad you're here, Tim. This is from the Flame Fighter himself, an LFF Tornado title qualifier. We got Fulton and Sammy versus the Twisted Aggression. What the hell? So, the most glaringly obvious thing that we have here, and Angela, he sent it to us. I didn't search this out because I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? All right. Now, he's running 7 seals on his 16. You know what? In a general setting, it's fine. Except you're a grapple 20. You're a grapple 20. You're running a power stop on your 16. And not only that, you're playing against a power 20. This is straight Chuck actions in Faction Wars, man. He's playing against a power 20 with a live grapple stop, and he decided to play his legendary acknowledgement, and then at the last second, I have to change it, and I get pissed as hell. Just can't believe it. So, you know what? Sometimes you hate somebody so much you start acting like them. Isn't that right, Tim and Chuck? But so the dead 7 seals, like, that's enough. Like, the dead Chuck was in big trouble. You're right. The dead 15, you have a dead 15, so bootlegger is fine in Tornado. Yep. Like, if he doesn't run a DQ card, then you got to shuffle 2. It's perfectly fine. I have no issues there. The nope, dismiss a dive, eat the mat. Trey was so pissed when he read this. Go ahead and talk about that, Trey.
I just do not like any skill stops on 19 through 21 because I feel like I can always make my 19 through 21 live. I can always throw a finish, so I have that spot that forces them to put a strike in play, so my 21 will be live. And, you know, he didn't run a 4 through 6 to turn off your skill stops. But if he did, the only way you can stop the strike finish is with your 27. You only have 1 out to be able to stop it then. And that's the reason we were looking at this deck. He didn't have a 13, and you don't have the stuff to push grapple to force the strike in play to protect you.
Nope. Now, missed in the face, fine. Like, he's not going to run bootlegger. He's got live 15. I would prefer... Well, I guess light tubes wouldn't really help that much because he's not going to run setup. But, like, I typically do chair shot of the DQ ones just because it's, like, get rid of a stop kind of thing.
Yep.
But
stop hit, they lose the stop, basically.
The 23 is inspired, say, put it one way.
I mean, he is going out and search the grapple there. I guess I'll give him credit there.
That's that. So set up the steel chair. For those who don't know, increases agility on turn rolls by 1. What's Fulton and Sammy's agility, Trey?
It's not too great.
It's a 10.
I think they're
out of 20.
10.
It's a 10 out of 20. And now, granted, what's Twisted Aggression's agility? It's also a 10.
Getting some big 11s going.
Now, here's the thing. I could see slight part of this working if you're doing, like, set up the ring step uprising, something where you can draw whenever he's increasing his turn roll, because he's already increasing his turn roll if you roll a strike, right? But
so, like, if you ran your 8 to go get your 23, to go get your finish.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Now, why not back from the brink here? Or Power Bomb, From Darkness and Delight, Herc Throw. All of these skill cards would have worked on 23. They would have been very strong, would have allowed you to go get your finish that he can only stop twice. And, you know, allow you to go
play for you.
or force a strike at play. Like it has to be a very strong grapple here. Now, Trey, I heard that you were on a team with Tim before. Doesn't he own some of these cards?
We have ran the power bomb before.
Have ran Powerbomb, so confirmed. I know you got a Powerbomb in you. I know you got one of them. Yeah, from Team Yaz, Insider. I know you got one Powerbomb at least. Back from the brink, sure. Lariat, not? Yeah, sure. Fine, whatever. It's fine. It's basic, but I understand. Double Axe Handle. He has no if stop effects. Doesn't matter. 25 through 27. Yeah, draw a card. And the thing that upsets me a little bit is like 2 of these finishes could turn off his gimmick. Oh, he's got Herc Throw? That's even better! That's a fake card! God. But ironically, his grapple and his sub can both turn off Twisted Aggression's gimmick. And Twisted Aggression, for those who don't know, it's pop and twist 16. It's 16 to an 18 on Tornado. And then when they roll strike, you get a +2 to your turn roll. So rage and pop and twist, easy to come up with. And the buddy cutter, the finish grapple, reduces their max hand size by 4. So if they're not at max hand size, you can turn off their gimmick. And then the finish sub, I think it reduces their max hand size by half or something. I know it turns off the gimmick again, but it's like
it's also running the baseball bat on the strike might have
if
that was an owned card.
That was the thing that we were like, we don't know if he owns Sammy the Draw. Luckily, there's no notorious Sammy the Draw players in attendance with Chris Pate or anything. I promise you guys. I promise. If you don't own a card, ask somebody. LFF stands for Love for Family. They might let you borrow a card. Bob Dunn let me borrow a card for my Underworld title defense. Now, granted, I was already carrying it down to him from Will. You do have Sammy the Draw. All right, so you know what's good against a draw deck? You know what's good against a draw deck, Tim? A card that says you can't draw one. You can't draw more than one card. It's a it's a strike finish that says you're going to reset your hand and deck. Yeah, against a draw deck, I'm definitely running baseball bat, so you can't draw more than one card.
Even if you're not throwing it, pitching it in the discard pile and not letting them draw more than one to get their hands back up.
It was like, I guarantee this guy didn't, Jason. I guarantee Jason didn't run Impact his family. Oh my god! But yeah, like. Actually had the draw finished on me. This is just as getting sad. Tim, come on, man. Yeah, I all right.
And, like the 11 right there as well, like the double wrist twist. He doesn't have a 13 on him.
Yeah, and same thing.
The only thing that he would be able to stop it with is the 19. If he uses his 19 to stop my 11, more power to him.
Yeah, and it's you could run a searcher there, you could run recursion there, and I want to go back up to the because we sure as fuck know the Tri-State ain't box. Yeah, so and this is Tim said earlier in the chat. Tim said I saw recursion, didn't pay attention to stats. Tim, this is the first thing
Let's look at the stats.
This is
contendership.
The first thing I do in any match, is look at the stats. Any match, I see, what are we doing? Like, because Fulton and Sammy, you're agility 10, strike 18. What is Twisted Aggression? Agility 10, strike 14. That means grapple. Whee! 16 to an 18, 10 to a 16, -4, shuffle 2, draw 2. Pretty damn good. And the sub even 16 to a 20, 14 to an 18, max their max hands, half hand size. And the thing that tilts me off the face of the earth, you had even if you didn't want to just run a alien boot drop, even if you didn't want an alien boot drop, you could have run the equal 8 on on them, and you would have that would have been a better skill card than 7 seals. Because as we look at it, it's like look at that power 20. Man, oh man. I do agree. You did run the right card to stop a spotlight grapple, though. That's smart.
We looked at that one.
Yeah, we did that. And for those who don't know what Sammy the Draw's strike finish is, when this card's in a discard pile, choose an opponent. They can't draw more than one card. And against Twisted Aggression, who's probably going to have every draw 2 imaginable or draw 3s, pretty good. And it's your opponent randomly buries their hand in discard pile. Even if you just get hit with a baseball bat and it doesn't kill you, it hurts so bad. It's so annoying.
It puts you so far ahead.
Yeah. This one just brain farted me. Tim, it's a chance at a title shot, buddy. We gotta do better. Like I believe you can. I straight up believe you can. You were on a team with Trey and Yasmin. I believe you have the ability to do better. Yeah, it's a game ender. Yeah, no matter what. It's like they have to bury their hand in discard pile. That may not
end the game right there, but
it'll lead to it.
They're gonna kill it.
Yeah, because it's like you just set up. Yeah, you won tournaments with the baseball bat. Yeah, I mean it's good. Like even if it doesn't kill somebody stat wise or whatever, finish roll wise, you get to reset, and
they can't recover their hand.
Yeah, like they reset and you didn't. You could just go lead, follow up, finish, and you don't know what. And they probably don't have any of their stops because you just reset everything. Oh man, but yeah, that's our. I really hope that this isn't like a season long thing of what the fuck are we doing, Tim. All right, so enough roasting the Flame Fighter. He asked for this. He sent me the deck list. He wants the help, but it's like unfortunately it's too late for the booked match, my guy. I wish you would have asked me before the match.
I was gonna say we also looked at like the rejected. Like we didn't think the rejected made a whole lot of sense because Twisted Aggression should go faster, and then in the case that y'all are both decked out, like you end up putting cards back in the deck to make sure that his hand is at minimum hand serves. Has enough cards in his hand so his gimmick is on. So
it would have been a fun combo with the baseball bat if you hit the rejected, then discard your baseball bat so they can't recover. But still. Yeah. Tim, I don't think you deserve a season-long thing. It's just the fact that it happened back-to-back. All right. So enough of roasting poor Tim. The next thing... I was involved in a book match against my good friend, the LFF chiropractor. Now, granted, I didn't get to put any fancy designs on this one, so I'm sorry. I was choosing one. All right, we got the Mimic Underworld Defense versus Kota Ibushi. We got Kota moves on his submission roll. So I have 7 and 8 and 17 and 18 that can't be removed from play. I've got Potion Uprising and Seal Uprising. I've only got 1 Potion and 1 Seal, but it's whatever. All I care is that they can't be removed whenever he rolls his 5.
I mean, picking up stops is never bad either.
Oh yeah, if they're in discard pile, and I could. And then 22 and 23, I run the scratch line. It forced him to choose whether to let me have free recursion because, as you talked about knee stomps earlier, if it gets blown up, you get to either pick up a finish or a card of that type.
Strike in this case, yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the game, he had to choose to blow up my 19 Skullduggery Potion or Scratch. And he chose to blow up the stop. And I was like, that's a bold move. And then
especially when he was going grapple.
Yeah, exactly. So the missing card here, Savor the Moment. It blanks a gimmick if Enjoy Everything is played. So that's why I have Enjoy Everything. It lets you search your hand or search your discard pile or deck for Enjoy Everything and play it as an additional card. If Enjoy Everything is in play, your opponent's gimmick is blank. New line, very good in booked matches. Don't currently have one, unfortunately. Just won one on Dojo, thankfully. But I never got it in play, honestly. But here's the big change for me. I focus sub like hell. And on a Power 5 Grapple 7, that does not happen very often. I went aggressive as hell. I went Armored Aggression, Gathering the Sledgehammer, both sub recursions. a trap in the trash can, and then I went full Nelson, Super Dragon leg twist, and then small fortune to get those subs back. So the unfortunate thing for Paul, one of his first cards he played is his 26 to search for a grapple. And he's not used to me running my deck through subs, which was very unfortunate for him because I played full Nelson and he has to 14 it. And then I get to play my finish sub. I copy Popa Press Slam. So Popa Press Slam, it's just 5 to a 6 for me, and then 6 to an 8 basically. Here's the thing: I knew Popa Press Slam and Herc Throw was coming. That's why I had felt that. And every time Mimic gets to throw his sub, he discards a card from your hand and copies it. So it felt like every time he got back to the Popa Press Slam, I would hit my finish sub. I would discard it and copy it, and I would draw a card. He did not enjoy it.
He was in a loop.
He was in a loop until finally at the end of the game he got aggressive and he stopped my scratch with a C1 stop one. And I was like, all right, strike it is. And that's how I killed him, was with the finish strike. Because it was essentially blank. I think I copied his, and I don't know if you helped him. You could tell me if you did. Did you talk with him at all, Trey?
I didn't. He didn't even ask me for the plot twist.
Damn. Night tip. So Paul ran super kick over the top, which gives no stats, ran plot twist, which gives no stats, and then Popa Press Slam, which is +1 to my 5. So it's just basically saying, screw you to my gimmick. Perfectly fine. But I did get to have the very fun interaction where I used my finish strike to copy plot twist, to copy a different card in his discard pile. I just kept the combo going. And ended up rolling 7 to a 9, and he didn't break out. And that is how I retained Ding Ding. And probably going to end up playing Harvey Luster next. Oh my god. But that is Sunshine Smackdown. Great time. The tag, we could talk about the tag tournament. You want to talk about please tell the class about what you did, what you and Ryan did, and possibly why it upset some people.
Well, we're going to say every card was going to hit, and we wanted fast games. We played King of New York, who starts the game at crowd meter 1, and the match now has no disqualifications. And then we paired that up with other New York local, the Lord of Dance, who at crowd meter 2 says that all stops are blank. So we read this and chose to run no stops in our decks.
Oh my god! People were less than thrilled by this turn of events, as you might imagine. Dancy says, "I have also played this combo. I would have loved to see y'all's comparison deck wise, but that, oh my god,
I think we had 15 finishes each in our decks.
Crazy people, and me knowing this
in matches, you know."
Finishes do end matches. And me knowing this is why I'm in the tag finals. And we ran TVA Commissioner and Candyman. The Constellation, just like regular tag combo, whatever. I just having to yell at Paul, like, play anything. It doesn't matter. It's good. No matter what, it's good. It's like, don't worry about any stops. Get rid of them. Who cares? They're not. They will do nothing the next crowd meter. They're running schoolboy. Who cares? Oh my god! And that's how we won. We just rolled 10 to a 12, and they couldn't break out. And that's what. And Boss even says they're glass cannon. And it's like, and that's exactly what happened. We got to hit one finish. We got to hit a good finish before they did, and we ended up winning.
Our game with Jeremy and Lauren, I think we got to crowd meter 5, and both teams had to tag up and break out. It was a really good match with nothing getting stopped.
Gaming the system. Oh my god. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to recap for Sunshine Smackdown. Trey, you got anything?
I mean, nothing other than like I was surprised at how fast the field was at Sunshine SmackDown. I was expecting people to. I thought that the hand control, like the King Cold, would actually work better because I didn't think that the decks would go fast enough to be able to deal with it. I thought with the Steel Chain and Ring of Fire, people would not want to be running all their draw twos.
Yeah, let me pull up the actual challenge for the event if I can. Let's see the standings. I want to look at some of the people that were close. It's like, so there was the top 8. You barely got in, Trey. And then we had a Rising Sun. Woof. Jason Faustin is there was a cluster of 3 and 2s. Just super close. Apparently a vote was held on whether to do top 16 or top 8. I wasn't there, and I apparently would have been the tie-breaking vote, which was funny. But I probably would have done top 8 as well. Rising Sun was the first one out. Then we had New Version, Better Than Miso Top Cut. Yeah. Well, not really, because Steve got in with a bye, Will. Whoops.
To be fair, he did actually win the match that was played, so he was 4-1. He did beat winner of Ryan Pierce.
Yeah, he did beat Ryan. So we had it was a Barry Rising Sun, but it was definitely a Rising Sun that Staley, I think he's from Florida, I believe. And then we had Grand Pack General Lee Wong, which I played in the first round. Oh my god, the Heart Stopper is such an annoying finish. It's so annoying because he hit me with finish grapple and then finish grapple, and I was like, whoops, I don't have another stop for this. Still was able to win. We had Uncaged Beast number 1 from Slade Holiday. Lauren Santiago playing Lauren Santiago. Everybody played Annika.
I was surprised about that. I thought we were going to get the Bronzeberg.
I for sure thought we were getting Bronzeberg.
I mean, after he took down the online league with Bronzeberg, I thought we were sure getting it here.
Yeah. We had Jeremy with Santa Claus, which 26. Ron Rumble said, pretty sure it was 26. The 27th was double entry. Okay, that makes sense. Santa Claus 3 and 2 of Santa Claus is pretty cool. Like, that is a very weird gimmick. Pride as New La Penguin. Ricky Riot, Master Strategist. He just ain't got the Florida powers, man, apparently. Flame Fighter as himself. Cardboard Villain as Italian Bombada. Ron Rumble as HR. Larry playing himself, Maverick Jones. Your guy playing Wrestling Revolver, Sammy. Chris Tapley as Nadia Mai. Uncaged Beast number 2 from Too Juicy. Wyatt. Arcade Addict Aaron as New Lily Mai. Sean Carter playing Bandersnatch, trying to run it back, man. Did not go as well this time. Charlie Thomas playing Asia. Oh, and this was the double one that they got rid of.
Yep.
So 26, and the winner overall, the number 7 seed apparently, Ryan Pierce Wendigo. Congratulations to him. I think it's his 3rd.
I think that's what he said.
Yeah, 3rd CAC, because I know he'd won with, I think, Funtime Bob and Peter Lionheart before. Who made Pierce's deck? We already went through that, Possum. It was Trey. And I'm sure that'll have ramifications on the Underworld thing. Yeah, Wrestling Revolver, Sammy. I don't like his finishes that much, but yeah, if you're able to flip your opponent's deck in Ring of Fire or flip your own in Stips. But the thing is, when looking at Stips, you got to get there. Like, that's the important part. It's like you have to be able to get to the top cut to do that. Like, your gimmick has to be good enough to get there, no matter what. And that's really what you need to look at with a CAC, because in Swiss it's going to be the hardest because you don't know what you're going into. Like, they're all regular matches, but if you start winning, your matches are going to get harder. Like that, and then because you're going against people who are also winning. So that's why you need to be able to win just a regular singles match without having to rely on, oh, this is good for Stips. Yeah, should floats be T50'd? Trey, what do you think?
Oh, I think taking all entrances off T50 is better.
I am leaning that myself. I like at this point, like I don't even care about the tank anymore. Like it's like I don't think entrances should be T50 either, just because I just straight up like don't care. Like floats, it's like I think it like if it steals one turn, like who cares? Like you, for it to actually matter, you have to do some like you have to beat the next turn roll on a tag. It's basically like Johnny Eldorado twice.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like who cares? I personally wouldn't T50, and I'm actually now. Granted, maybe it's proximity. I'm leaning towards getting rid of. Let's see, multi-man rules, entrances. Like, I'd rather get rid of all these anyway. High level parkour. It's one of these things. Like, yeah, that's good. Like giant mode doesn't do anything in tag. Very rarely does anything because it's targeted. Like look at your opponent's hand is all right, I guess with satellite scan. Solar shotgun can be good in some comps, not always. Summoning circle can be good. Volcanic claymore, draw, impact his family, hand up. Hey,
I mean, I think that it just makes the champions that have the spotlight stronger is all it does.
Yeah.
Because most people are going to run a T50 comp over a T50 entrance. So all that is doing is moving up competitors to get a second gimmick off of a spotlight.
Should old goat get removed then if floats isn't T50? You are more than twice per match. You can do it. You can do it way more than twice per match. That's why I think floats isn't that big a deal because it's twice per match. I ran iron sharpens iron and I didn't use it. Like entrances are okay in like an open field. Like in book matches, yeah, sure they can be useful, but the I wouldn't care. Like Johnny Eldorado and Old Goat, like yes, I definitely should think they should be T50, but they can do that like 3 times in a row if it works out. Like floats should is limited already, and then it's like you may not get anything whenever you do it. Oh man. Oh. Production truck, you got any more questions? For those who don't know, I've been sick. I caught the Florida disease. I got my I got home and I was like, oh no. I immediately started popping NyQuil and everything. I am sick and I'm probably going to be asleep again before expanding the universe. I should have had the tea. So Paul had this Ecuadorian immune booster tea, and I was like, "Damn, that looks really good." And I should have gotten it. I should because it looked really good, and it was. And Paul was like, "Damn, I actually may get some of this stuff to go, like the tea mix or whatever." Just a giant mug of like citrus and tea and everything, just whole stuff in the cup. It looks so good. Oh my god. But yeah, vitamin D is also good. Yeah, we were out in the sunshine, man. We were having like I felt great until we started driving. Now, granted, I also counted for driving like 24 hours in.
Drew killed it driving.
We drove a long time. I think Paul took the longest. Like Paul and Ryan drove for like 3 hours apiece, and then you drove for like the last 2 or something. But it driving round trip 24 hours in like a 2-day period. That may be why I'm sick. The booster tea. That's what may need to. Oh my god. All right. So we are going to go raid Johnny Wrestling. I apologize if I was not as high energy as I could have been. The sickness took us out, but we went for a good hour. So we will go raid old Johnny Gargano, Mr. Johnny Wrestling. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy Totu. I probably won't. Unless I'm on it, then maybe. See y'all later.
All righty. Over to Johnny.